creation to sustainable urban and rural planning and the reclamation and of degraded lands. These efforts are not only vital for climate action but also to achieving sustainable development goals, particularly SDG 7, 8, 11, 12, 13. We are especially proud to highlight the leadership of young people across the Commonwealth whose creativity and commitment are driving the transformative change in clean energy, circular resource management, and community empowerment. So before I bring on the panel, I just want to talk a little bit about the Commonwealth Youth Program. So the Commonwealth Youth Program is about 54 years old now. It's really built to support youth across the Commonwealth, empower them to be the change that they want to see in the world. And we've got about 13 incredibly active youth networks across the Commonwealth. They work in every area from justice to law to ocean action to climate to sustainable energy transitions, oceans, etc. So with that, I'm going to invite my panel. First, we've got Angelos Pastras, who is the chairperson of the Commonwealth Sustainable Energy Transition Youth Action Group. Um, and I'm going to let him explain his day job in a minute. I'm going to invite Kalyani Imanpuri, who is an ESG and carbon consultant. On panel. I think we need one more chair, yeah, sorry. Did not. And finally, I'm going to invite Sienna Bassi, who's a student at the University of Cambridge. She's a youth advocate who's looking to specialize in the energy sector. So I think what I'm really keen with this panel is the diversity that we're seeing from people who have been working in the sector for many years. I'm not looking. To people who have engaged in all sorts of technologies and the just transition, and people who want to get into the energy sector to make the change. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start with you, Angelos. So I think I'm going to. So in terms of just transitions and youth-led leadership, where do you see your role, and how have you seen it shape in the last few years, particularly both bringing together groupings like the Commonwealth Sustainable Energy Transition, the Youth Action Group, and the energy sector at large?
Um, Hello from me. My name is Angelo. Nice to meet everybody. You can hear me loud and clear based on the action recognized. I lead the the Commonwealth Sustainable Energy Transition Youth Action Group on a global scale, but we have also launched national chapters recently, which is why I got confused with my title there a little bit, I guess, because we now have leads all over the Commonwealth as well. Your question I find quite interesting because the role of a leader in my head is twofold. One is speaking truth to power, but also the second is to empower people that you care about and bringing them along in the journey, especially when we're talking about a just transition. So, from me, the way that this has evolved from being a young professional early in my career to now being a senior consultant is exactly that transition. Back in the day, I felt that I was shouting upwards most of the time. Now I feel more like I'm stuck in the middle where I have people asking me for things, for guidance, mentorship, whatever it might be, while I still have to do that same role up the chain and speak truth to power where I can now, be that CEOs of companies, be it secretary generals, be it directors of whatever it might be.
Excellent, and I think that brings us to Kalyani really well. So Kalyani, you've emphasized that youth are not just the beneficiary but the co-architects of the green transition. What are some of the specific policies and programs that you believe can help, particularly Commonwealth countries, but youth at large, to create more green jobs that are accessible, fairly paid, and connected to the low carbon industry?
Sure. So firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to this panel, Ankita, and it's great to be here with Angelo and then also another young leader here. Good luck. And I work within ESG and carbon consulting area, and I've been working with the fund managers, especially within the emerging markets and then ESG space. And one of the ESG points we look within the corporates is are they creating any youth employment, within the social segment. So definitely keeping that in the mind, I think for the Commonwealth, creating a genuine green jobs ecosystem means embedding youth participation into design of national climate and industrial policies, and not treating it as an afterthought. Three quick priorities, especially from the ESG angle. When we look into the companies, is are they giving any apprenticeships and things like that, and mainstreaming youth in national just transition frameworks. I think as we see the youth pavilion here, how they invite the youth leaders to let them know, what role they want to play. So government should include youth employment targets in NDCs and also net zero strategies, linking renewable energy expansion, circular economy ventures, and sustainable agriculture to youth skills pipelines. Then scaling catalytic green skills accelerators is one of the things. I mean, like vocational training, digital MRV, and carbon market literacy should be embedded in their TVED systems. And Commonwealth countries like Kenya currently and Barbados are already piloting the climate skills academics, that match the local needs to global low carbon industries. And finally, I think enabling small enterprise participation, like many youth operate at micro or cooperative scale, and access to concessional finance, simplified business registration, and carbon credit revenue sharing models can turn these informal activities into formal green employment. So in short, policy should treat youth not as a labor supply, but as a solution designers and investors in the green transition. Thank you.
Thanks. That's a really interesting point to end at. So I think, Sienna, you've heard two really interesting perspectives. There's the part about speaking youth needing to speak truth to power and where that takes you, and then the specific kinds of policies and programs that we might be seeing around. So in your experience, somebody who's still wanting to figure out where this journey takes you. What are some of the key things you're looking for as you look towards, I guess, people like us and beyond?
Well, thank you so much for having me on this panel in the first place. I think one of the things youth are looking for is a seat at the table, is for our voices to be heard. So you've given that to me. Thank you so much for that. Luckily, a lot of people are now pushing for more youth engagement and things like this. So there are programs out there. For example, I'm working with the International Association for Human Values, and they have youth leadership training programs in Commonwealth countries like Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and we're looking to train the youth, especially those in marginalized communities and those at risk for violence. For me personally, coming from a developed country, I have a lot more opportunities out there. We're looking for mentorship, and I'm glad to report it is there. I took a gap year before going to university so that I could understand this sector and be part of it before studying my degree. And on this gap year, once I started looking, things came, and the resources are there, the people are there. It's just creating the spaces to find that, and I'm lucky enough to have had the space and had the time, financial resources to look for that. But now it's time for companies and other organizations to look for youth, which is what I'm seeing, so I'm glad to see it.
Excellent. That sounds very positive and exciting in a place that can often be quite negative when we don't get the result we want. So, Angelos, I'm going to come to you and ask you maybe a little bit more specific about what do you see is the green skills that need to be emphasized. So, for somebody who's looking to figure out where the next technology